90% of startups fail. It's a brutal statistic, right? But what if we took the habits of that top 10%, the ones that actually succeed, their relentless drive, their vision, their absolute refusal to quit, and we applied all of that directly to your personal well-being? Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're totally flipping the script on how you look at personal development. We're going to take the borderline obsessive rigor of a successful startup founder and channel that exact same energy, not into a shiny new tech corporation, but literally into yourself. So, what if you treated your life like a business? I really want you to imagine stepping into the role of CEO, but not for some Silicon Valley startup. You're stepping in as the CEO for your own health, your relationships, and your deepest passions. You're the sole founder. You hold all the equity. It's all yours. How would your daily decisions change if your life was a venture-backed startup and you were the primary investor? Would you tolerate the same inefficiencies? Yeah, probably not. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. You are a startup. We so often think of entrepreneurship as something totally reserved for those intense pitch rooms or, late-night garage sessions building software. But the framework of building a business from the ground up, it's the exact same framework required to build a fulfilling life. Our source material defines entrepreneurship as believing and putting faith on investing the resources that you do not have at present for a bright future. This totally shifts your mindset away from just seeking immediate rewards. You're putting faith into unseen resources. Think about it, sacrificing an hour of sleep to study, or maybe spending your Sunday meal prepping instead of binge-watching TV. It requires you to work incredibly hard today based on a vision of tomorrow that literally only you can see. And that brings us to Section 2, the founder's faith. Remember, every single major success story starts out as a pretty crude idea. That better person you want to become, they aren't fully formed yet. It's just a spark. But that spark requires immense, unshakable faith from the founder, which means you have to willingly invest 4 upfront things right now: your effort, time, money, and energy. Think of paying for a gym membership or buying a stack of books as your initial seed funding. You're basically pouring your sweat and your hard-earned finances into a project that doesn't even exist yet, just trusting that these investments are going to pay massive dividends. You are funding your own potential. And this brilliantly illustrates the comparison. On the left side, with a traditional business startup, you start with a crude idea, absolute minimum resources, and you try to build a tangible product or software. But look at the right side, your life startup. Your product is your health and your relationships. You rely heavily on delayed gratification because the ultimate product you're building is, well, it's you. It's an uphill task, either way, essentially placing one brick at a time. Now, as you lay those bricks, you have to patiently rely on delayed gratification. In the business world, you just have to wait for your product to mature and actually be accepted in the marketplace. And the exact same rule applies to you. You can't force the market to buy a half-baked product, and you certainly can't yell at a seed to make it grow faster, right? The true founder waits, and they trust the compounding process, because you're definitely not going to see a completely transformed body after just one workout, or a perfect relationship after a single difficult conversation. So let's move right along to Section 3, executing your life strategy. So, the crucial point is, this is where we shift from that initial hopeful mindset into rigorous active execution. This is where the theory becomes real and where true founders totally separate themselves from the daydreamers. Consider this your new 6-step operational manual for your fitness, your job, your passions. Number 1, giving absolutely everything to the cause. Number 2, being disciplined, showing up especially when you don't want to. 3, fully committing to the cause. 4, planning and preparing, because, let's be real, hope is not a strategy. 5, having integrity to do what you said you do when nobody is watching. And finally, number 6, leading by example to become the standard you wish to see. Okay, I actually want to slow down our pacing for just a second here to really ground us in reality. Treating your life like a startup? It's not a glamorous highlight reel. Honestly, it might be a slow and tedious process. It's heavy. There are going to be weeks of absolutely zero motivation and completely invisible progress. Acknowledging this reality is absolutely crucial. But, and this is a big but, our source material explicitly assures us that pushing through this incredibly tedious friction is entirely 100% worth it. Which brings us to our final act, Section 4, the guarantee of struggle. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is it introduces a completely expectation-subverting truth that most traditional self-help material just completely glosses over. But any real entrepreneur knows this intimately. There's a profound, almost brutal honesty to this quote. Success may not be guaranteed, but struggle is guaranteed. This absolutely shatters those traditional success narratives. We're so often sold a false bill of goods that, if we just check all the boxes, our success is 100% certain. But this framework tells us to focus on the absolute certainty of the uphill battle instead. The struggle is literally the only true guarantee you get when you sign up as CEO.
But you know what? This guaranteed struggle is actually a really beautiful thing. It develops you into a better person. Your life's ultimate return on investment isn't necessarily hitting some external milestone or reaching a shiny final destination. No, the real prize is the transformational struggle you encounter along the way. The resilience, the grit, and the deep character you build while fighting through that friction, that is what actually changes you at your absolute core.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, lingering question. If the struggle is guaranteed, what kind of person will it build? Let that sit in your mind for a second. If you're going to face friction, uphill battles, and tedious work no matter what you do in life, how will you choose to direct it? How will you plan to invest your time, your money, and your energy moving forward as the active, intentional CEO of your own life? Thanks so much for joining me today. Start building your life startup right now, and I'll see you in the next explainer.